It's so good to see everybody this evening. I am Valerie Wilson, and I am your new Vice Chancellor for Academics and Planning here at SAUTech. So this is my absolute first Adjunct Faculty Orientation meeting, and my very first full semester or academic year working in this department at SAUTech. Now, I've been employed at SAUTech for 23 years. So academics is this side of the house. It's new for me, but I'm excited. I have a bunch of wonderful people to work with, and I do realize that we have a large number of new adjunct faculty this semester, so we're really excited about that. I want to start off by allowing our Chancellor, Dr. Jason Morrison, to come and welcome you all here.
And I have an assistant with me this evening. And this is what I get resulted to, holding her stuff. No, thank you, for doing what you do. Many of you go work full-time jobs during the day, then are willing to give your time in the evening to teach classes for us. A two-year college cannot survive without a strong, stable group of adjunct instructors. And also a thank you to the faculty that work and mentor and ensure that we're teaching what needs to be taught. The faculty that take extra time to work with adjuncts, but most importantly for the adjuncts that come in and give it their extra time to help this institution, it is crucial. A two-year college is not like a four-year university where we can just have endless number of faculty members. I mean, we are very tight on the number of full-time faculty, and so therefore to be successful we require a large number of adjunct faculty to serve our students. And we appreciate your willingness to adhere to all the policies that we set forth and have to implement. You know, sometimes that gets and distracts away from what you're really good at, and that's inside the classroom and teaching what you're passionate about. I apologize for those restrictions and policies, but it is what it is. And just be patient with us. We are committed in the coming years to provide more training for adjunct faculty to kind of help alleviate some of that stress and that burden on what you do in the classroom. So look forward to that. And we want to make sure that you have all the resources you need to have in order to be successful in the classroom. So thank you for your opportunity to be here before you and speak to you. I appreciate what you do and your willingness to serve SAUTech and being a part of what makes Tech great. I'm going to depart now. I have an open house for kindergarten. And so, but if you need anything, ever have questions, feel free to come see me. Got ideas? Come see me and bounce it off of me. Marcus does it endless. And so forth. But no, seriously, we want to do what we can to make sure this institution is moving forward. And we are increasing enrollment and serving our students, and most importantly, keeping our students. Work hard, work tirelessly, fight for your students, please. I'm asking you this whole semester, always keep in your forefront of your mind, what can I do more for this student? How can I fight to keep this student and help them be successful in this class? Because it's a fight, and I appreciate your fighting for these students so they can have an opportunity to be successful. So thank you, and I'm out, Valerie. All right, you ready?
Inside your packets, you have a newly revised Adjunct Faculty Handbook. It's really brief. However, it contains all of the policies and procedures, and will probably answer the majority of the questions that you'll have. But we've got guest presenters this evening that's going to provide you with the information that's contained in this document, as well as additional information. And of course, opportunities for you to ask questions. You also have in your packet a form to be used to register your vehicle to get a parking sticker. If you're an on-campus faculty member, you're going to need a sticker on your vehicle so that you won't get a ticket. And by the way, I don't know if I told everybody we're rock stars because we're in the movies. That we do have some adjunct faculty members who don't live here. They teach online for us, so they live a pretty good distance away. So we're recording this so that we can then, those people with those skills are going to be able to fix that so that I can send the link to them so they can watch this and they'll be able to benefit. You also have in your packet the academic calendar, and it has important deadlines, particularly when you're supposed to certify your roster, and Mr. Banks is going to talk to you about that. So make sure you become familiar with your deadlines for the fall semester and the times of those deadlines. Because we've revised the times for some of our certification roster and final grade entry deadlines. And Mr. Banks is going to give you detailed instructions about that. You have your final exam schedule in your packet for the fall. This is the wrong one. Yeah. And we revised it. This is for the spring. We'll send you one. We revised it. I think I revised it last night. It's on the website, My College. If you go to class schedule from My College, you'll see the final exam schedule. And it is an accurate one. However, we will send y'all a good one because it is spring. Then you have a directory in here of all of our full-time employees on the front, and on the back you see the department telephone numbers. All right, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters for this evening, and the first one we have is Ms. Jennifer Williams is going to come and talk about our attendance policy and provide you some. This speaker, all of the speakers are very, very important, but it is critical that we get this attendance reporting done properly. So Ms. Jennifer is going to describe the policy to you, and Ms. Camp is going to give you some more specific information and easy ways to track and report your attendance, okay? And then I think everybody has an agenda, so I'm not going to get that up. And if I disappear, I need to be divided into two people tonight because I have to be two places at one time. So if I do, we have to leave before we finish. You're going to be in the hands of Maritha and Rita. Thank you all so much.
Hi everybody, my name is Jennifer Williams. I'm the Director of Financial Aid here at Tech. I've been here about 10 years. I'm very excited to meet some of you. I recognize some of your names because I'm the one that bothers you at the end of the semester about Fs. So don't mind me if you get emails from me. I really appreciate you getting back with me. I'll explain a little bit about why I'm bugging you today and why I might be bugging you end of the semester. The thing I'm going to talk about is the 14-day policy. There might be other reasons that you drop students or that you send in early alerts on students, but I'm only going to talk to you about the federal regulations and why we have that 14-day policy. So because we are an institution that receives federal financial aid, the government puts all these restrictions and regulations on us. And basically they hold financial aid under the guillotine, saying that if you don't abide by these regulations, we're going to cut off your financial aid. And financial aid for our institution is very important. We have a lot of low-income students that require financial aid. So in order to keep our institution running and our students going with financial aid, these are some of the things that we have to abide by. And we work as a team. I appreciate you guys, like Dr. Morrison was saying. We can't live without you guys, and you know, we work as a team to get those things met, get those regulations met, all the things that we need to do as an institution to make our students successful, and that includes some of these regulations that we live by. So when we decided as an institution several years ago to take attendance, require attendance, we then became under the law and regulation of this 14-day policy. So in other words, if we say that we're tracking attendance each time a student is in class, or if you're online, Ms. Laura's going to talk to you about that later, every Monday, then we're going to know if a student stops attending, right? So the government says if they're not attending within 14 days, consecutive, those are calendar days, not your class days. Very important difference. If they're not attending, then we need to notify the school and get them dropped. We need to determine if they're withdrawn or not. If they're withdrawn, then we need to withdraw them. That's you doing that administrative drop. And that way, a student stops getting aid. Because the whole reason the Department of Education gives students that aid is to help them go to school and attain that education. If they're not going to school to attain that education, the government does not want to attain them. And that's just kind of the bottom line. So what we have to do is determine how much of their aid they earned by the date that they attend. So when you're reporting that information on the early alert system, and isn't it still the early alert system where they're putting their, I don't know the system's name that they put the dates in when they're keeping it. Campus Connect. In Campus Connect, it is really important for you to keep up with those dates and keep track because of two reasons. One is when you're gone, so let's say hopefully we get to keep you for one semester, but if we only kept you for one semester and then you moved away to Texas, and we didn't have some form or some type of way to show that a student was attending in your class, and we got audited by the federal government, and we could not prove by any attendance records that they were in your class, then the government considers them having never attended, and we have to send back that aid. So now the school is either going to have it at, or the student's going to have it at, or both. So we want to keep things like that from happening. Also, the really important part is the last day of attendance is what we have to live by because we are an institution required to take attendance. So when you're recording those withdrawal dates, there's a place in there for you to tell what their last day of attendance is. And that's my flag in financial aid, and the flag for registrar's office and enrollment reporting, and the flag for our institutional reporting to get all that information to the places it needs to go. So it is very important that we have that. So when you're reporting those, just make sure you put that last date of attendance. In some cases, at the end of a semester, I have to check if a student has an F, if they earned that F by attending your entire semester, or if they earned that F because they stopped attending. And so I might be emailing you at the end of a semester, so a couple of weeks after the end of a term, keep in mind that you might not be done with this. I might have to get some information from you. So please just keep an eye on that email. If you change emails, please just let us know, things like that. And Laura's going to talk to you a little bit more about how the actual policy works, but I do want to stress that a student has 7 calendar days when they first miss, so they've been absent 7 calendar days. That 7th day is when you turn in that early alert that says to Marcus and to the student, hey, you got an issue for attendance. If you don't attend, and by 14 days, you're going to get dropped from this class by me. So because of retention efforts and things like that, we have that one alert before they get dropped. So usually within a week, that first week that they're missing, you want to send that early alert in. And if they do not attend within 14 calendar days, then you have to drop them. There may be other reasons that you're dropping them. Grades, if I know our LPN program, if you miss 3 days, then they drop you. So there might be other things with your syllabus, a reason why you're dropping a student, but this is only what I'm going to speak to. So there is a thing in your booklet that talks about academically related activities. And this is from Department of Education. So when the student contacts you, because they have not been in class, we've not been turning in homework, and they tell you, hey, I wasn't able to come to class, sorry. That's not considered an academically related activity and cannot be counted as a date of attendance. But if a student contacts you and says, hey, I was sick, I missed this homework, or I missed being in class, can you tell me what I missed? Can you tell me if I can maybe turn in this homework tomorrow or something like that? That is actually asking about their coursework. That's actually asking about classwork. So that can be counted as attendance. That is an academically related activity. And it details what is considered an academically related activity by the federal government. So when you put down, I don't know that it gives you in Campus Connect a way to say email from student or whatever. You just have to date that is the date that was the date that they attended. So you can count that as an attendance date. That will become really important, I think, especially for online classes.
There is an option to click Contact Made. And Contact Made marks them as present, but that allows you to know that they weren't there, but they made academic contact.
Okay, great. I didn't know that. So again, just keep in mind that it can't just be that the student called and said, I'm not coming. It has to be more substantial. It has to actually be about their classwork. I think think the rest of that will be covered with Laura, the minute details of that. But does anybody have any questions that I might be able to answer at this point about that policy? Yes, ma'am.
This came up with I had a student who was ill quite a bit. She kept up with her work, but she would have missed, enough days for me to drop her. I didn't drop her because she was, keeping her grades up. So what do you do if you know that they're having, she was in intensive care for a while. What do you do when you know that they're having a medical issue?
If they're continuing to contact you with an academically related activity and they're trying to submit your coursework, you always, as the instructor, have the option to consider them incomplete and allow them till later to finish that. So that is one option I know. Do they have to do something specifically to do that?
You can give incomplete for online classes.
I did not know that.
You can do a
Yes,
2-week
online
extension if you've done enough of the course content.
Okay, so 2-week extension, they've done enough for.
For
I'm
online.
learning stuff myself, so.
Online.
Okay. And all of our adjuncts are online, or we have a lot on campus? So on campus, you could give them an incomplete and allow them to do later. But again, I would stress, I've seen this in the past where it's with adjuncts and the student may have only come like the very first week of classes and they only have submitted one homework assignment and then they just keep giving excuse. I would be very careful with that and make sure that they're trying to turn something in. And you have people like Rita, and Miss Dr. Wilson to help you kind of make those judgment calls if you question things like that. But I wouldn't let them continue to go if they're not really trying to do something. But if they're turning in stuff as they can, then that is different. Any other questions? All right, well, again, my name is Jennifer Williams. My email is on that and my phone number. I'm happy to answer questions anytime I can. I know some people have contacted me with specific questions and I'll work with Laura and Dr. Wilson as you need. Thank you guys for what you do.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Camp, and I'm the Biological Sciences instructor here at Tech. I teach AOP 1 and 2 in biology and microbiology and chemistry for nurses and all those fun things. I always say they hide me upstairs in the corner. My office used to be a closet because they say she cuts things open. Let's put her away from everybody else so she doesn't rub off on them. But, and I inadvertently made myself the attendance guru, but I will do my best to help you through this process. Attendance seems like it should be a simple enough thing. You're there or you're not, you're doing work or you're not. But in higher ed, nothing is that simple, right, when you deal with the federal government. So on your, or in your packet, there are a couple of things that I'd like to refer you to. Toward the beginning, there is a page that says attendance. Their pages are not numbered, but it's a little bit down the page. It says grading policy at the top and attendance, just a little bit below that. Okay, so in the classroom classes, it is more straightforward. They're there or they're not. If they are absent and they contact you and say, I'm absent, and they give you a reasonable reason, like doctor, court, whatever it may be that they were unable to attend. My personal policy is for classroom courses that they are allowed to miss 4 classes unexcused for the whole semester, and if they miss more than that, they're dropped. That is my personal attendance policy. To be excused, an absence must be unavoidable and documentable. And this is just my personal policy, just to give you an idea of what you can do in addition to the university policy as well. Because as we all know, students don't show up, they're not going to be successful. Okay? So that's kind of the way that I prevent excessive absences. Of course, we also have the 14-day policy, but students will learn how to work that. They will show up just enough to keep bumping that 14 days along. And you get to the end of the semester and they've attended maybe half the time. But they are savvy enough to bump that 14-day policy along. So I added to my personal attendance policy that they're not allowed to miss more than 4 classes, unexcused. So, you said, what if the student is in the hospital, but they're keeping up with the work? I would give that student excused absences. If they kept up with their work, I would let them complete the course and finish it just like they had been there. As long as they kept up with their work and they provided the documentation, and you knew for sure that that's why they were there. I would not, if they were completing their work, I would not do incomplete, I would not do withdrawal, I would not do any of that. I would let them finish their course. So, in the classroom, if you can have and you do have a valid reason to excuse their absence and it's documentable, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, as long as they are making contact with you and they are keeping up with their work. Okay, if they're not making contact with you and not keeping up with their work, that's when we enter into the university's 14-day policy. And that policy states, if a student does not attend class or complete work for 14 calendar days, they must be dropped. And once that student is dropped, it is irreversible. There is no, oh my gosh, I thought I had till today to contact you and I just didn't get it done. I promise I'm going to start back to work. Like Dr. Morrison said, we want to keep every student possible, but we have to follow federal guidelines. And we have to apply it evenly to all students. So, if they miss that 14-day window, they just miss it. You're going to be contacting them, you're going to be sending an early alert, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But 14-day policy says, if they do not contact you or submit work within 14 calendar days, you must drop them for attendance. So, if we're talking about a classroom course, Jennifer went over what constitutes academic contact. If a student is absent, that they come to your office and they discuss their performance with you, you can count that. And in Campus Connect, when you enter attendance, there is a place where you can mark contact made rather than present or absent. You have several different options. You can mark present, you can mark absent unexcused, you can mark absent excused, and you can mark contact made. So you have 4 options there for attendance. If you mark contact made, that counts as attendance. So if a student contacts you but it's not academically substantial, if you mark contact made, it goes down in the books as it was academically substantial. So make sure you only mark contact made if it was a qualifying academic contact about their work, about their performance, about their course. So that's classroom classes. Online classes are a little bit trickier. You're going, trickier? That sounded pretty involved. But online classes are just a smidge worse. So what we have to do with online classes, okay, it got really confusing. So believe you me, this is a simplified version of what we used to try to do. Okay, so for online classes, you're going to count attendance on Mondays. Okay, that Monday, you look at the previous calendar week and determine whether or not the student was present for the week. Okay, and you mark that on Monday. Okay, and you do that every Monday. And if you do it Monday, if you don't have time to do it right on Monday, you submit it Tuesday, that's fine. But if you're Friday or Saturday submitting it, that student should be contacted, and you're in the danger zone with just a couple of days to do something about it. Okay, so it's really important in online classes that you do your attendance either on Monday or very near Monday every week. Okay, so now what qualifies as attendance in an online class? You are not required to have a deadline every single week for something. If you would like to do that, just so you can look at one thing and say, yep, they were here, or no, they weren't, that's perfectly fine. and up to you. But you do not have to have a deadline every week. If a student is caught up, you count them present, okay? So even if there was nothing due the week previous, if they are caught up, you count them present. So they did nothing the week before, but there was nothing they had to do, so they're present, okay? Now, for when they miss a deadline, okay, so you set a deadline, and on the following Monday, the student has missed that deadline. On that Monday, when you count them absent for the previous week, you count them absent, then you should, in Campus Connect, go in and send an early alert. That goes to their advisor, it goes to Marcus, and it goes to the student. Okay? On that early alert, you should tell the student, you missed this deadline on this day, therefore you have been counted absent for that week. If you do not contact me or submit work by the coming Monday, and give them the date, if they do not contact you or submit work by that coming Monday, then they will be counted absent again. Now, it's a little different in an online class, because when you count them as absent that first time, it was for the entire previous week. So when you count them absent the first time, they're already 7 days into their 14-day window, okay? That's why it's so important that you send an EAR, and I send an EAR and I send an email to the student within Brightspace. It's very important that you contact them on that first absence, because they're already halfway through their 14-day window, okay? That's why you can't wait to file your attendance report or to file their EAR, all right? So, you count them absent on a Monday. On the following Monday, they have not responded to your attempts to contact them. They have not turned in any new work. You count them absent again, and you drop them, okay? So, in an online class, it is extremely important that you be very timely about counting your attendance and sending your EARs. Because otherwise, the student, if you waited till Friday to send your contact to them to say, hey, I'm going to drop you on Monday, what if they work all weekend and they can't get on there and submit any work? So it's very important that you do that in a timely fashion, especially in the online classes. I kind of summarized all of that under the attendance policy here. I have some for the classroom. I have some things that apply, which I've already told you, that apply to the online and classroom classes. Then there's some that apply just to the online and some that apply just to the classroom. And so then Jennifer's academically related activities are on there on the next page. Wayne is going to talk to you, I believe, about how to report things in Campus Connect, correct, Wayne? And then in the very back of your book, I think it's the very last appendix in your book, is a sample timeline, or 2 sample timelines. Okay? And they show how you can get kind of some weird sticky situations with attendance and how to handle those. If you do get into a situation where you're not sure how to handle it, whether they're absent or not, or when to drop them or not, feel free to contact me or Sarah or Jody. I'm not sure how Eddie does all that because his stuff is different, but you can contact me, you can contact Sarah, you can contact Jody, whoever your division chair is for me, and we'll try to help you figure it out. Like I said, attendance should be simple, but with the federal government it's not. Okay, so for the online classes though, again, you do not enter their last date of attendance as the last day that they turned in an assignment. You check attendance on Mondays only. So if they are absent, their last date of attendance is the previous Monday. It does not matter when they turned in an assignment. Attendance is only counted Monday to Monday. So when you put last date attended, it should always be a Monday. You do not have to dig through your course and find the last time they commented on a discussion post or whatever else. It's Monday to Monday. And online, you only enter absences according to Mondays. Okay, is that clear as mud? If you have any questions, we're around. Thank you.
Everything that she talked about and recording, sending your early alert, recording your attendance, all of those things are done in Campus Connect. So you record your attendance. For those of you who are teaching online courses, when you recording attendance, you're going to record that attendance using Campus Connect. And Mr. Banks is going to show you all of that. You initiate that instructor drop inside of Campus Connect. Everything that you do, you enter it into Campus Connect, and it's very critical that you enter your attendance in the attendance module in Campus Connect. That is very critical, and that you do that as they've already described to you. One other comment that I would like to make before I forget, you all have division chairs and you all have students, so inevitably you may run into some issues with your students. So if a student comes to you and they have a complaint and you try to resolve that issue with the student's not satisfied, they always want to go talk to someone else, and if I get them, I'm going to send them back to you for you to work with your student to resolve that issue. And if you can't get it resolved, then if they come back to me, I'm going to send that student back to their division chair, who is going to try to work with you and the student to resolve the issue. And then it's going to get resolved, so then I won't ever have to deal with it. So I'm not even worried about it. But I just want you to know that if an issue comes to me, and it did, the last semester was my first semester, and I'm just going to send them back to the faculty. Typically, you get it worked out. So those of you who are new and this is the first time you've ever taught, you're not going to have any problems. All of your students are going to always be happy. They're just going to be, that is not true. So you are going to have, you're going to have, once in a while, you're going to have some kind of issue, and it's always an important issue to the student. So, and they always want to talk to someone who is your boss. But I'm going to send them back to the faculty. So, it's my expectation that the faculty and the division chairs will be able to resolve those student issues. Okay, so I can't remember if that's in your handbook, but everything they've talked about so far is in your handbook.
Okay, so let me go into two terms I want to go over to start off with. When you're doing your certification rosters, you may hear people talking about the 11th day and the census day. And a lot of people think that those two dates are the same, but they're not. The 11th class day is the last day that you can make changes to your roster. Last day that any student can be added to your roster. The census day, which is the 12th day, that's going to be the day when everything is set in place. No more corrections. That's going to be your roster to start off with. When you're certifying your roster, a few things are very important. One is, you're going to have options on that certification roster. 4 options, but I only want you to work with 2. One of the options is never attended or logged in. Another option is attended. That's going to be your default option. So hopefully, all of your students will be attended. So you won't have to do anything. Just make sure that those students are the correct students in your roster, in your class also. If the student has attended at least one time, in your class one time, then you write on there attended. One time out of those 11 days. If a student has never attended the class, then what do? You click on never attended. Now we do have an option that says stop attending, and then another option that says something. But like I said, with those two, I don't want you to worry with. I don't want you to worry with that. The only two that I want you to worry with is attending or never attended or log in. Those are the two options that I need for you to worry with. Any questions so far? So it's very important as far as your roster that the certification is correct. Look at your roster. Compare it with the students that's in your class. Very important. You may have 11 students on your certification roster, and it may be 11 different students in class. You know, I'm talking, it may be off 2. You may have 2 that's not on your original list and on your certification list. So make sure that these 11 students that showing up in your class are the 11 students that showing up in your certification list. That's very important. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you everything how to do this. I'm going to log in. So first you will go to my college here, log in, username and password. So I'm logged in. Then I would go to Campus Connect. As you can see the little hand right here. We'll click on Campus Connect. Then over here, as you can see, we have faculty access. So now you have 4 options: roster certification, class schedule, and early alert detention. So we're doing certification rosters first. So we're going to click here. Now you're going to have options as far as the term/semesters. So we're going to go, because we're going into the fall 2017 semester, we're going to scroll down to fall 2017. We're going to highlight it, and then we're going to click the Go button. So, because I've only placed myself as instructor for one class, it's only showing one class. But for some of you all, you may have 2, 3, 4, maybe even more classes. So since I only have that one class to certify, and I'm looking at that class and that's the correct class, I'm going to click Go. That's my certification roster. I have 3 students in it. And if you remember, I told you that there's 4 options. You got attending, stop attending, never attended or log in, and excessive absences. So never attend is the class, and or log in, that's like your internet. So once again, I said you got attending, or never attending, or logged in. So I'm just going to go ahead and certify. I got 2 students that within that 11-day period, they logged in or attended at least one day of class. So I got it here, attending. This student here, never seen that student. Not even one time. So I highlighted and I have selected never attended or logged in. So I'm gonna look at that again with my row list, make sure everything is right. Now, if everything is correct, because I want to make sure before I submit this, because when you click on the submit button, that comes to me within maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, I have it. And if there's nothing else that I'm pressing and I'm working on, I'm ready to process that. So, I looked it over twice, and it's good to go. So now I'm going to hit the submit button. That's it. But like I said, once again, it's very important. I hate to preach to the choir, but it's just very important as far as making sure that the students in your class are the students that's on your certification roster. You don't go by if a student say, well, I'm going to come to your class, I know I'm supposed to be in your class. If that student hasn't attended your class, then to cover yourself, you mark that student as never attended. Any questions? Okay. Now we're going to go to early alert reporting. And once again, it would be the same first step as far as my college, Campus Connect, faculty access. But it's going to be a little different. Here, so I'm going to get all the way out. Click on faculty access. So now, we were here. Now we're going to early alert retention and reporting. So Ms. Kemp and Ms. Williams talked a little bit about early alerts, so I'm not going to bore you all with that, but I'm going to show you the ways how to do it. So the default is summer 1, 2017. We know that's not the term that we want to use. So we're going to highlight fall 2017. And once again, because I only have one class, it's just showing that one class here. If you had more classes, it will show all the classes and then you select which one you want to go to. So, what I'm going to do, right here it says early alert reporting. I'm just going to click on this class. And now for those 3 students, my early alert reporting is here for all 3 of the students. So this is the first one. This is Wayne David Banks. You scroll down. We got Robin Benz. Scroll down again. We got non-student. Now, looking at what we have. So we're the instructor, and what did that student do or not do? Lack of effort, lack of participation, late work, everything that that student has not done or has done, you mark it. Check up, check. Just like this. And what's very important also is right here, you got a message that's going to go to the student. As far this is so whatever this is going to the student right here. The reason that student is messing up and why you're turning this early alert. This comments here, that's going to, it says in-house, but that's going to the academic advisor. Whoever the academic advisor is for that student. That's going to that person. Right here, you see attendance. Student never attended, student has not attended since. And you notice I put student has not attended since, and we got to drop down, we got a menu. So that student hasn't attended, I'm just coming up with a date. So we know 8 is not really part of this semester, but I just put a date, an earlier date. And once we've done all of that, then we have here where it says cancel, save draft, because we're going to go back to it later on, or sign and submit. Jenny, I know you're the expert on this. Is there anything else I need to, I know earlier alerts go through you.
Just make sure in the message to student, put whatever you want to go in that email to the student. If you have a message that you only want to go to the advisor and to Marcus, put that in the in-house only comments. The more information you give, the better able we are to help those students.
Okay, did everybody get that? So once again, I have the 3 students. If I was doing early alert on all 3 of them, I would process all 3 of them and then sign and submit.
And you can do those at any point. So if somebody fails a test and you want to go in and do an early alert, you can do that. You don't have to wait until a certain point in the week or in the semester.
And right here, I didn't talk about that. This, it says current grade. At that time, what was the grade that that student had? At the time, that student had an F. Any questions on early alert as far as the process? Once again, so we're dropping the student. So we know as far as the 14-day policy with the early alert, and now we're the instructor, we're ready to drop the student. So once again, we go to My College, Campus Connect, Faculty Access. Here, we're going to click on roster. Once we click on roster, we're going to select the correct semester. Once we've done that, we're going to click the go button. Again, if I had more classes, they would show on down. So if I only have one class, I'll click the go button. For each student, if I want to drop that student, I will bring the mouse right here to this arrow that's pointing down. So for Wayne Banks, we seen that he had an F, wasn't attended, had all kind of problems. So we're dropping. And this is your drop form. I've only had access to this for 3 days, for 4 days now, and it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I'm not an instructor, and I've never had access to this. And to see what instructors see, they used to always call me up, and I used to always try to explain to them the best of my ability as far as what they needed to do. But to be able to be as like an instructor is something. So, instructor name, got all this information here. You must check at least one of the following. Reason. And I'm going to talk about this right here. This is something that's a poise problem. I'm going to get into this as far as being able, you must pick on one referral. I didn't know about that, but a lot of instructors was having that problem as far as when they were ending grades. And I tried to talk them, that's a poise problem, that's a software problem. They're still trying to correct it. I'll talk about that, but it's good to. So here, you must, as I said, you must pick at least one. So I'm going to pick 3. And now what's very important right here, it says last attend login. This date right here is very important. As Ms. Williams was talking about with financial aid. With Ms. Williams, with myself, with institutional research, we have to report our students so many times a semester. And attendance is very important. It's very important. And the last day of attendance that you put there is very important. One of the reasons as far as with the registrar's office why it's very important is because this is the date that I'm going to, if this drop goes through, this is the date right here that we're going to put into the system that was the last date that that student attended classes for that term or that semester. One reason why it's important as far as taking attendance is because whatever date that you put there, once again, that's the date that I have to report. So with some agencies, I report 4 and 5 times per semester on these students. So we're going to use Wayne Banks as an example. For this semester coming up, I do a report in September. Wayne Banks is on the roster. I do another report in October. Once again, Wayne Banks is on the roster. I haven't been taking attendance. Now, when I turn in my early alert and turn in my drop, now I'm going to state down here that the last time that Wayne Banks attended was September the 3rd. So that was after the certification date, but if I've already reported Wayne Banks was in attendance for September and October, and now you're telling me that Wayne Banks hadn't been in class since September, what I have to do, I have to back that student all the way out, like that student never attended. So all those reports, the institutional research, all those reports that I've done, all the submissions that financial aid has done, we're in trouble because that student shouldn't have been reported. So now we have to resubmit. So it's very important as far as taking attendance and making sure that you write down the correct last day that that student attended. Because like I said, the institution, if we have to re-report so many times, then the institution can get in trouble. Because they say, well, okay, SAUTech doesn't know what they're doing, and it's not the faculty that they're going to look at. They're going to look at the institutional person, they're going to look at the registrar, they're going to look at the financial aid person. As far as what are they doing, they don't know what they're doing. When really it's not our fault. Any questions on that? As far as taking attendance and how to do instructor draws? Last thing I would like to talk about is entering grades. Once again, my college, Campus Connect, faculty access, click on early alert retention, and then go down to grade track. You're going to highlight the semester. Now you have your class. You open up your class. So once again, we got these 3 students that we were looking at before. These are grades that I put in previously. So these grades wouldn't be there when you first do your grade report for this time. One important thing that you have to do, up here where it says track, you have to change that. So you're going to change track either to midterm or to final. It's very important if you leave it on track, what's going to happen is when you submit grades, they're not going to come to you. You're going to tell me, Mr. Banks, I've entered grades, I've submitted grades. And I'm going to look, and what I have is a flag. I can go into my software system, and for midterm, for grade, it's going to have an M there for midterm. If it's final, it's going to have an F there. So when I go into poise, and I look under your roster, it's just going to be blank. Nothing is going to be there. So I'm going to say, well, are you sure you submitted your grades? You know, and then I'm going to ask you, I said, well, did you change it from track to either midterm or to final? And then most of the time they say, oh, that's what I didn't do. So we looked at our roster, compared it with here, because what we don't want to do, and every once in a while that happens, is we get off the grade. And we're all human, we all make mistakes, there's nobody perfect. That we may have got off the grade, and you know, you may have a roster with 40 students, and you get off one, and the last 20 may be wrong. So you can look at your roster, you know, as far as with your grade, and then compare it. So everything is fine. Once you're sure everything is fine, just go down to sign and submit. And if you seen real quick, it came up in red as far as your grade. Came up in red at first, but like right here it says grade date 8/15/2017. So that lets you know that you have submitted that grade. And you come back and tell Mr. Banks, no, it's showing right here that I submitted it. And it may be a mistake on my part. I said, oh, I got it. It came in, and maybe it's a peer where maybe 100 grades are coming in per so often, because it's finals, it's everybody's trying to turn in the grades. They have till 5 o'clock, and that the last 30 minutes is a lot of instructors to turn in grades. And I may miss seeing one, because when it comes in to me, it's not going to say intro to computers. It's going to say grade, and I have to open up every one of the grades to figure out which one is yours. So that's very interesting. Any questions on anything I've talked about? And you know, the one most important thing, once you have whatever you tried to do, that is very important as far as going up there and logging out. Anybody have any questions later on, just give me a call, 574-4493, or send me an email at wbanks@sautech.edu. Thank you.
I just have just a couple of things I want to point out as I've listened to the previous presenters. Keep in mind that an early alert is not an instructor drop. So if you put in an early alert, you write a message on it, student needs to drop, you have not dropped that student. You've got to go through the roster and actually go through that drop process, or we're just going to continue to make contact with the student. Also remember that those early alerts, we need you to turn those in at the first sign that there are problems, so that Marcus and the advisors and the email that goes to the student, so that we can try to intervene as soon as possible. You don't have to wait until they've missed 2 days or they've missed a whole week of work. You can turn in early alerts prior to that, or early enough that we can make contact with them. When we're talking about submitting attendance, that system's a little picky. Okay, so once you go to open a new attendance report, sometimes it takes a little while for it to pop up. Don't keep hitting the button, because then it's going to submit. And we can't, someone else in IT has to undo those for us to go back and redo an attendance report, and it's going to default to the whole class being in attendance. So if you click the open button 6 times and it submits it, it's going to say everybody in your class attended that day. And so you got to be patient with it and make sure that your attendance is right when you turn that in, so that it doesn't create problems for other offices. Last thing real quick is walk-in or registration for this semester ends on Friday. Okay, so if a student comes to you next week and says, hey, I really want to be in your class, Mr. Agnew, can I get back in your class? Can I get in your class? Or I got dropped for non-payment, can I get back in? Okay, here's the process. Student is going to come to you as the instructor. You then are to go to your division chair. Okay, and this is between starting on Monday and going through certification. So you go to your division chair, the 2 of you discuss that and make that determination, and then your division chair is going to let an advisor know that they've been approved to be put back in class. Okay? The student comes to us, we're going to send them to you. We've got to have your input, because you may be far enough into the class that you say it's not possible for them to catch up and be successful. You may say they've been in class but just weren't on the roster and we need to fix that, and that's okay. So it's going to come back to you and to your division chairs to make that determination. If a student comes to me with a post-it note where you've written it's okay to put them in class, I've got to have something from your division chair approving that. Okay, and then we'll get them in class. But that's only between when registration ends on Friday and when you certify your roster.
Really excited about the system. We just kind of merged the tutoring center and the library together, so now it's all in one place. But anyway, so starting off, our hours are from 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. and then Monday to Thursdays, and then 8 to 12 on Fridays. Okay, and I just want to give you a little insight. We do have laptops and tablets to check out for students. So some of y'all have a lot of online students that are taking online. For some reason, students take online classes and they don't have a laptop. So so they can check out laptops and tablets at our LRC. So we do really good. We love seeing our students and stuff. We have face-to-face with them in there. But what I'm going to introduce to you is called Upswing. And so I'm going to give you a little brief little presentation on this. Upswing basically helps fill in the gaps of where we have a lot of students who take online classes, and so some of you probably don't ever get to physically meet your students. And so even if they can't come up to us to get some tutoring, they can do this virtually as well. And so they can interact with us virtually, or they could get tutoring from one Upswing. And so even though we cover a lot of areas and subjects, there's some areas like A&P, which I hated because we had to turn away from some students about that because I couldn't help them in that area. But now with Upswing, they were able to have tutors for that subject that they need in. And so, but this is also scheduling, so you can actually schedule with our tutors through this. So students can be able to schedule. I have a little thing that kind of shows a little bit about it. And I'll be letting you know when it launched. We just recently got this and everything. They're doing some maintenance upgrade on it and everything, but you'll definitely get an email from me along with the new tutoring schedule for the fall semester as well. But these students will be able to search by classes and stuff, and be able to do scheduling with the tutors, whether it's with us or with Upswing. They get text alerts on it as well, so they let them know an hour in advance of their tutoring session and stuff. And what I encourage is for y'all, if you want to tutor your students and you don't want to give out your phone number and all that stuff, you can sign up to become a coach with this. And so you can actually virtually, kind of like FaceTime with your students and audio, visual, and chat on there with the whiteboard as well. Now there is an option, you don't have to show your face if you don't want to, okay? Or you don't have to talk through it if you don't want to. You can just simply kind of chat back and forth with it. So, but for coaches, you just kind of create your own profile. We always encourage people to add a little fun little thing like you like skiing or fishing. It's a way for students to kind of relate to you and build that relationship with you. You can just look up upswing.io. That is the website of it. You can look up a little bit more about it.
Okay, hey y'all, my name is Marcus Copeland. I'm Student Success Retention and Placement Coordinator here at SAUTech. My presentation was on putting the students first and getting students to love being at SAUTech, whether it's here or online. A lot of people would say see your student as a client. I say see them as a family member. See them as your little brother, your cousin, your sister, because if they're your family members, you're more apt to take care of them. You're going to make sure that they are successful, okay? Also, listen to your students. If more than one or two or three students are saying something, listen to it and really take that in. Follow up with your students, to the ones that have been teaching, that do give the early alert system and alert us about what's going on for us to intervene. Thank you for that. Please continue to do that. To the new people that are on, like Ms. Sanders said, don't wait until you attendance or whatever. If they're not doing well in class, if they're not attending, if they're falling asleep, please early alert us, and I will get out and begin to talk to that student. I need 6 people really quick to get up and come to the front. Real quick. So, we're thinking about our students on a holistic, there's 8 dimensions to a student well-being, which are spiritual wellness, social wellness, financial wellness, occupational wellness, physical wellness, environmental wellness, intellectual wellness, and emotional wellness. So, student comes in and begins class. Between the group, begin the balance. So, we think it's easy. And a lot of us think, oh, well, the student, they're at SAU Tech student, they should be focused solely on SAU Tech. Yeah, that's true, but they have no purpose. They don't know what they want to do in life. So we got to try to help them with that. No transportation. We got to try to figure out something with transportation. They feel unsafe in the environment they're in. They don't trust too many people. Nothing with that. They have children. They have no money. We're trying to figure out what resources we have for financial aid. Bad relationships, divorce at home. thank y'all. Okay, so y'all see how students are juggling with everything in life besides SAUTech. And like Dr. Wilson said, many a times, sometimes we fall further down on the totem pole. But what are we doing to make sure to ensure that our students are successful while they are here? So again, please take advantage of the early alert system. Email me if you're having problems with the student. But also a great thing about Upswing, well, that's for full-time faculty. But send me an early alert. Y'all have any questions for me? I will be moving, my office will be moving to the ERC, where Kyra, the tutoring center, will be as well. Okay.
Lastly, I just want to let y'all know, as far as passwords and usernames, we will be sending all of those out in the morning. Also, if you have not completed, I have 3 forms up here, and if you have not seen or completed one of these, if you are an adjunct, if you're full-time faculty or staff, do not worry about it. But if you're an adjunct and you have not received a data information form, a faculty credentials form, or an assignment preference form, I need you to collect these tonight before you leave, and you can email, fax them, or bring them back up here to the academics office in the administration building, office 250. And I have a few people that I have to give keys to tonight, and that is Casey, Diane Green, Dexter Payne, and those are it. So y'all feel free to take a couple of refreshments home, and thank you for coming. We're excited about fall.